Well, hello there and welcome to Travels with Geordie. If this is your first visit, my name is Peter Knowles and I live on this classic wooden motor cruiser here in Victoria, British Columbia, along with the loving memory of my pup Geordie, all the while fixing it up for some pretty extensive cruising someday. If that's the sort of thing you might be interested in, please consider sticking around and subscribing. We'd love to have you. So what is this week going to be all about? Well, to tell you the truth, I've had quite a few requests lately. Peter, what do you do in all the time when you're not doing projects for the boat? So today you're going to spend the day with me and we're just going to run around and do whatever it is I do. In Montreal, and as a result I'm a bit of a bagel snob. There's really only two places in all of Montreal you can get a bagel, a decent bagel: Saint Viateur Bagel and Fairmont Bagel. And Fairmont Bagel offers cinnamon raisin bagels, so there's really only one. So for many years I really felt that the only way you could really eat a bagel was fresh out of the oven, which happily at Saint Viateur Bagel meant 24/7, and we usually ran up there after we left the pub. So you'd only eat them hot, fresh. You'd buy a tub of cream cheese and a tub of lox, which is smoked salmon mushed up, and you just break them and scoop them and eat them while walking around downtown, and that was bagel life. As soon as a bagel went cold for the first time, I considered it compost. Now, I have been exposed to a fantastic bagel bakery here in Victoria, Montreal Bagel. Their bagels are on par with Saint Viateur. I know the purists are probably going to be annoyed with me, and believe me, even myself, I can hardly believe I say it. However, to eat them after they've gone cold, you must butter fry them. And on that bagel, at least for breakfast, will go cream cheese, smoked salmon, capers, and just the thinnest little sliver of a little bit of red onion. And I mean just a sliver. Ah, perfect. Okay, absolutely. And some lovely cream cheese and lots and lots of it. Now, I'm not sure who in the world invented the bottle of capers, but this is the most difficult packaging I have ever imagined for any small, wet, gooey yumminess. But it's worth it if you can get them out. Ah, good. The salmon and those two tiny little strips of onion. This, ladies and gentlemen, is breakfast bliss. Ooh, bright. Oh, yes. Wow, what a day. Bit of frost on the dock overnight. And some mornings when Lady Zephyrus is working, I get to take her dog Griffin up. Nice to be still connected with a dog sometimes. There you go, Griff. Whoo, slippery, eh, pup? We have a really great wharfinger here. He's already been out and salted the docks. You can do it. That's a good boy. There we go. I neglected to take any footage of it before I got it all green, but some of you will recognize this as the propeller shaft drive flange, and this is the original one. If you've been following along, I had to remove this and change it for one that fit the last transmission. Happily, this is the Borg-Warner Velvet Drive layout, which is the same as the transmission that's coming. So happily, I have a buddy with a sandblast booth, and I got a clip of yeah, so he let me blast it up and clean it up, and also shoot it with a little bit of zinc chromite to protect it from flash rusting, which is basically what happens as soon as you sandblast anything. And now I'm just going to give it a little shot with some zinc. So this morning we're going to do a little hunter-gathering, hop in the truck. One amazing thing about Victoria, especially downtown Victoria, is actually there's a bit of a little old industrial area right in the heart of town called Rock Bay, and there's so many good suppliers right in that area. And so most things you need, you know, materials, tools, stuff like that, are at hand. Not that everything we're going to go get is in that area, but okay, I'm gonna buy some toys too. Having not been able to sell this Perkins yet, it does mean it comes with me everywhere I go. And well, it's not like a few pounds of Perkins in the back of the truck is really much of a challenge for it, but yeah, it handles beautifully. All right, let's go. Awesome. Great. Absolutely fantastic.
What's your first name to go?
Peter. Some of you will recognize what the threaded rod is for. Okay.
Quick guide, if you want to ramp up the pressure, you back off on this lock nut and you turn this clockwise.
Basically, I'll wind it up until my blow off goes off in the hot water heater, basically. And back off just a hair. Everyone likes as much in the shower as you can, right? I love this place. Love it. So the pressure regulator. Let's talk about that.
10 and a quarter.
No problem. I can live with it.
You can? Are you sure?
Yeah, absolutely. No worries. No worries. No worries. No worries. Sounds good. Okay, excellent. Let's settle up. Okay, this place is tool heaven. Oh, it's even on sale. Yes, yes, yes. I love a new toy. Okay. Okay. Also a creme brulee if you have one. I can't remember what it is. There was a lychee paste. That's it. One of those. A big. Yes, please.
All right.
Fantastic. And that should do it. Thank you.
All right.
And after that, a pound of bacon. All right. Do you have like a Hungarian or? Yeah, let's have some one of those. Yeah. All right. Super. And then tenderloin. Oh yes, yes. Sure. How you doing? Okay, just about there. So what's that brass sheet for, Peter? Oh, I don't know, might have a little plan for it. Well, it's for right here. Yes, indeed. This will be the instrument panel. Hey, what do you think of that? Now, of course, it won't stay this patina. In fact, I'm not sure what patina it will stay, but I'm gonna like it. Even if it gets kind of, you know, faded and gnarly around where I touch it. This is a row of switches. These are all the gauges. Some more switches over here. Anyway, we'll learn more about that. The other piece goes here, and it needs to be trimmed to fit, and it will be the commemorative plaque for all the donors to the engine campaign. So it'll always be visible every time I open the helm. And actually, the names just barely fit. I'm working with a engraving company now to see if we can get that all on there. Fabulous! All right, those of you who've been following along may have noticed that my freshwater pump was sounding pretty nasty the last little while, and in fact it just packed it in last night. So what I've done at Trotac today, while we were all there, I just bought this nasty big washdown pump. This is the same style of relatively cheap Jabsco pump that all freshwater pumps are, but it's a 70 psi high volume unit for a washdown. Okay, so here's my thinking. I hate these pumps and the smaller pumps like them. They're always noisy, and they have a broad range between the cut-in and cut-out pressure. So even if you get domestic pressure, let's say 40 psi, they cut in well below that. I'm not going to spec a number because I'll be wrong, but it feels like about 20 psi. So basically, when you're using in a shower or filling a pot or whatever you're doing, you have somewhere between 20 and 40 psi back and forth as the pump cycles. Yes, an accumulator helps a little bit, but it just lengthens the lag. The pump won't start again until it gets down to 20 psi. So for those of you who are familiar with it, you know what I'm talking about. The option is to go to one of these expensive electronic variable speed ones that constantly manage pressure. I like the idea of it. I've heard that they're unreliable, and I just don't want to take that risk right now. Plus, they're very expensive. So what I thought I'd do, buy the washdown pump. It has maximum pressure of 70 psi. The cut-in, where is it going to be? 60, 50, 40? Well, 40 is enough. So as long as I always have 40 psi, I have domestic water pressure, nice shower, etc. like that. But you say, okay, well, that's no good, Peter. 40 psi to 70, you're going to be cycling terribly. Not only that, you're going to blow the safety valve off on your hot water heater. So what I'm going to do, you might have seen me buy at the plumbing supply place, a pressure regulator. Now, considering I built houses for 20 odd years, I've never actually used one of these because I've never built a house on city water pressure. So we'll see if this is an effective thing, but think about it. The pump is going to cycle between 40, let's say, and 70 psi. Somewhere in that section of the plumbing, I can tap off for washdown. So I can have high pressure washdown. More on that later. Then I run through the regulator into the regular domestic side of my water system. And now, no matter what is upstream of this, somewhere between 40 and 70, I'll wind it down to 40 with this thing, and I'll have a constant supply of 40 psi water for the domestic water in the place. Okay, let's see. These are grade 8 fine thread, and I bought what I call a stove nut or a crush nut. Basically, it's a type of lock nut that doesn't have a nylock on it. It just has little sections that are stove in at the end, punched in at the end to create a lock nut out of it. So that, beautiful, that'll be fine. And for the flange, same deal, very nice. Okay, super, that's ready to go. Actually, I can hardly believe I bought one of these. I've had so many reciprosaws in my life, although I've never had a battery-powered one. I didn't think I needed one in boat life, but there's been so many cases recently where it would come in so handy, and in fact, one of the projects at the haul out pretty much requires it. So let's see if I, well, first let's see if I can get this out of here. Ah, yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, what a beast. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Throw a battery on there. Oh yeah, that's pretty weird. You don't even have to pull the trigger. I suppose I should be reading some instructions. I like it. Even has a light. Okay, that is going to be super, super handy. Gosh, I wish I had one of these while I was building. The days are so short this time of year, it's hard to get anything done. Anyway, one of the things I really want to get done today is replace the windshield wipers on the truck. For those of you who have been following along, last year's road trip 2 years ago across America with my daughter, lost a windshield wiper in San Francisco, replaced it, tied it on with a bunch of zip ties because now that we were down to one, we didn't want to lose it. Then it broke somewhere crossing Canada and I spliced it. Can you see this? With an Allen key and a bunch of zip ties. And yes, it's been my wiper since then. It'll be 2 years in May. Okay, gotta get to it. I have procured new arms and blades from Three Brothers Land Rover here in Canada. Really great outfit for looking after these old trucks. And further to that, while this motor was apart, my good friend Matt here took the opportunity to rebuild the motor for me. Now, this is a wiper motor that goes in there, and there's another one on the other side. Land Rovers have these independent wiper motors, one on each side. Well, they're made by Lucas. In fact, this is the last piece of original Land Rover electrics on the entire truck. Now, Lucas is sort of famous for being the princess of darkness, and the whole point of that is they're really crappy electrical stuff for cars. So now, I love these motors. They're basically old school handmade gears and just... they're overbuilt and underbuilt at the same time. They're also manual. You can run the wipers manually, which may relate to how good the quality of Lucas electrics are. So anyway, I'm going to reinstall this and install the arms, and I'll have wipers again, even if I have to operate them manually. Now, in the world of installing windshield wiper motors, I'm pretty sure that in the context of, there we go, installing a windshield wiper motor in a vehicle in about 3 minutes. I can tell you the Volkswagen Vanagon right there, or the Land Rover, wow, Discovery something or other behind me, I'd be here till well after dark. So let's just poke this through here. Slap this back on along with its gasket. And this thing, which I've never known what is, I call it the bail, B-A-I-L. I have no idea why I call it that. Some of you proper Land Rover enthusiasts out there are going to educate me on that. These two little sealing washers, a couple of washers, and then some nuts. Now this is where I'm going to get into trouble. These nuts, these are not your regular run-of-the-mill English nuts. They are some kind of crazy, insane British BSF or B or I don't know what they are, to tell you the truth. B2s or anyway. My very good friends here in Victoria know all about it, and you know, I know a lot about Land Rovers, but for some reason I have neglected to really pay enough attention to keep tabs of what these particular fasteners are called. Anyway, there's only a few on the truck. This is where a couple of them are, and I am also bastardizing them by using the wrong size socket, but it works. Okay, and then the lock nuts. Okay, now Series Land Rovers are some of the most collectible vehicles in history, and in fact, as a result, almost every part is available for it new, with a few exceptions. And my good friend Ike Goss, who is pretty much the preeminent Land Rover restorer, at least in Western North America, would object, but getting the original style wiper arms on here and bushings and stuff to fit is a little bit difficult. So for years there's been these little adapters. Well, this is just an adapter that goes on this tiny little shaft and then has the spline that takes the pretty much standard wiper arm we're all familiar with. Upgrading this wiper assembly to a Series 3, slightly newer wiper assembly. What that does mean is having to file a flat onto this shaft, which of course purists are going to be very annoyed with, but I've already done it to this one, so there's no harm updating it. Now if I can get this on here without, why that won't go on there, I cannot tell. It's because it's not the right one, that's why. Okay, so this part of this little project is going to be curtailed. Let's at least put a new wiper blade on the other side. Although I think I probably want to keep this as a legacy, because really, to tell you the truth, zip tying your wipers on is probably not a bad idea, seeing as Series 1s do tend to come flying off. There we go. Maybe that's what these things are for. Now, this one still has the adapter on, an older one, but it'll work fine for me. So we'll put on a new arm and a new, yes, how about this blade? Totally retro. That's why I have this crazy old blade on here. No, there's another reason I have this crazy old blade on here, and I'm about to tell you why. There we go. And so that goes on there. Okay, so the reason we use these old flat blades, okay, super easy. Now, if I push it in, I can rotate it back and forth. You'll see it actually is too high for the windshield, and that's because this is a Series 2 truck, and this is a Series 3 wiper arm. The wiper arms of a Series 3 are longer because on a Series 3 wiper comes out down here somewhere. So that's why you get these simple little flat jobs here, and you simply take some side cutters, and as cruel as this may sound, pop that right. There we go. Okay, now it fits. Beauty. Of course, I am very fortunate to have Spinnaker's Pub just down the path here. Makes it pretty easy to get a nice dinner. So hey, welcome to Travels With Geordie Beer of the Week. I'm here in Spinnaker's Brew Pub with my good friend Scott Dressler, who you have met before long ago if you're a long-time viewer. And he has a fabulous vessel. Tell us a little bit about it.
My boat's a 60-foot wooden sailing boat, built in 1916, East Bay, Maine. Second oldest sailing Alden in the world.
Pretty cool.
As far as I know.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right.
And yeah, no, we're deep into it. We're
Right.
7 years of good and bad luck.
Good and bad luck.
Yeah.
Okay, well let's talk about the beer just for a second, because I have
Okay.
more questions for you. So we are, again, we're at Spinnaker's, and we are drinking, I am drinking, I think you are the same, the English IPA.
English IPA.
I'd like to say this is my first sip, but it's not. So my reaction and your
Well,
reaction
this is both our second beer.
exactly. Our reactions may be a little bit staged, right?
Well,
it's like, okay, here we go.
I
I'm
don't think we're
saying.
staging it.
See what you think.
It's not how you drink beer. Who drinks beer like that?
No one. I am the worst beer reviewer in the world. Tell me about what's going on with Altair.
Okay, so I broke the mast, and now we're gonna fix it. And I did a GoFundMe, and have been contemplating starting some form of online YouTube thing. I have an Instagram.
Keep telling him, get going with the YouTube. He's a character, he's an interesting fellow, he's got an awesome boat. I'm going to put a link below to his Instagram account, and I would very much like soon to be able to put a link to his YouTube channel, because I'm telling you,
Building anticipation. Anticipation.
this guy is a character. Okay, we have to do a little housekeeping. I have to congratulate last week's Beer of the Week word winner, Simon Eleanor. Congratulations, Simon. You won last week's t-shirt. We're not going to do any other regular housekeeping, but we do need a word of the week. I didn't even tell you about this in advance. I just need a word, any word. Honestly, it can be any word in the world. So just think of a word. I don't any word, honestly.
No, there's more to this.
Oh
You
my
can't just
God.
think of
Gallows.
gallows.
Yeah. Okay.
Or
No, there's no or. Sorry, this is live, man. You have
live?
chosen gallows.
gallows.
So
I like the gallows.
Travels With
idea.
Geordie Beer of the Week, word of the week this week, thanks to you, Scott, is gallows. There may be more than one meaning, but I can only think of the one, which is a bit morbid, so run with it. So
But
if you'd like-
on a boat.
Right. Oh,
What are the gallows on a boat?
okay, Scott, I don't even know. Well done.